NBC Sports Network welcomes you to the following presentation of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
For the first of 4 times this season, the IZOD IndyCars have traveled outside the United States to Sao Paulo, Brazil, the largest city in South America. Despite rainy skies, tens of thousands of fans have converged on the city's Sambadrome, home to the annual Carnival, determined not to let a little weather dampen their festival of racing. They've come to cheer on 3 Brazilian drivers who will have to dance their way up from the back of the field today, and to see if 2 Ganassi drivers can stop their Penske rival Will Power from achieving a Sao Paulo three-peat. Welcome to IndyCar Central, presented by Verizon, where we'll set the stage for today's 75-lap race. In less than half hour, this front stretch and turn number 1 will see a lot of activity, race cars, and it could be a very interesting start because there is rain forecast. In fact, it rained during the morning warm-up, and there is more on the way, but right now it is dry with a temperature of 70 degrees and a humidity of 73%. Let's take a look at the radar to see exactly how much rain we might get. It looks pretty bad right now. Let's hope, however, that if we do get rain, it will not be a major downpour. Kevin Lee is our guy on the scene in Sao Paulo. Kevin?
Bob, I believe that means welcome to Sao Paulo, the second largest city in the world. The fans have this with.
And a little bit of problem there on the transmission all the way from Sao Paulo. Will Power has won both races that have been held here at Sao Paulo, so he's going for the three-peat today, and needless to say, he's off to another good start in the 2012 season. The IZOD IndyCar Series begins the 2010 campaign down into the first chicane.
Oh, one in the air.
Wow.
That's Mario Moraes, and he's over Marco Andretti.
Oh!
The visibility is such to where conditions just aren't conducive to racing.
We are getting set for a resumption of this event. They have thrown down the early gauntlet. Will Power wins the Sao Paulo Indy 300. We had an early incident at the start of last year's race. It's wet. Will we see the same here this year? Brian Hunter-Ray has missed the corner. Oh, and he's into the tires. Torrential rain, unsafe conditions. This race has been postponed until tomorrow. The green flag is out. The Sao Paulo Indy 300 underway. Will Power wins at the Taipava Sao Paulo Indy 300.
And Will Power looks to make it 3 for 3 here in the streets of Sao Paulo, and 3 in a row this season. But today you don't have to work your way from the middle of the field. That should make things a little bit better, correct?
I hope so. It's just a funny thing that you start on pole and everyone gets to see what your strategy is. But, you know, I think it's going to be a mixed up race. You know, it's going to be interesting to see if the track dries before we get out there. So that it'll be a tough choice whether to put slicks or wets on. So a lot of decisions to be made, and hopefully we make the right ones.
And even if it's not raining at the beginning, there's a good chance it will rain at some point. How does that play into your thinking and your strategy with the uncertainty?
Well, I mean, as far as a car setup point of view, you just got to have something that's in between dry and wet. And strategy-wise, I mean, we just got to you know, take it as it comes. I mean, you just can't predict when it's going to rain. It may not at all, but you know, we're ready for it.
This has been a good place for you. Why this place? What do you like about this track?
You know, it's actually changed from year to year. I mean, the first year was very bumpy. It was a different sort of track, and last year was a fully wet race. So I think it's just keeping cool and being there at the end to attack, because you can pass here. There's long straights and a lot of opportunities. So you just be in that mix and you have a chance.
All right, he starts from the point today. Will Power looking for 3 in a row.
By virtue of his win at Long Beach, Will leads the point standings by 25 over Helio Castroneves. Simon Pagenaud is third in points. He's been very consistent this year. Scott Dixon fourth and Hinchcliffe fifth. Notice that Rubens Barrichello, another Brazilian favorite, is ninth in the point standings. Now, you did not see the four-time defending series champion Dario Franchitti in the top 10. That's because he is 14th in the point standings, and he's still looking for his first podium of this year. Will it come today? We'll talk to him when we return to Sao Paulo, Brazil. IndyCar Central on NBC Sports Network is presented by Verizon, official wireless partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series. Today, the IZOD IndyCar drivers are competing in the huge city of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Well, 2 weeks ago, the cars and drivers were in Long Beach, California, where the Target Chip Ganassi team once again struggled.
It looks like a problem for Dario Franchitti on the restart. He is dropping like a rock.
Dario just gets left in the dust.
Oh, that's not good.
He almost flipped over.
You know, obviously I surprised Marco, and I think the brake zone, he wasn't going to make the corner no matter what. If he had slipped underneath me, he was going to shoot long.
I would have had a clean pass on him. There's one thing blocking, but there's another thing chopping. That was a chop. I'm lucky I didn't get upside down. I could have been killed.
Scott Dixon is slowing to a stop. They're going to tow Scott Dixon off the course, and it looks like his day might be done.
The front left wing of Dario Franchitti, the rear of Ryan Briscoe. They make it into turn number one, but the front wing of Dario Franchitti did not.
This is shaping up to be a very bad day for Target Chip Ganassi Racing.
Well, Dario had the best finish of the Ganassi drivers at Long Beach. That was only 15th, however. Kimball was 18th, and Dixon and Ray Hall. Kevin is with the Scotsman.
Well, Dario, safe to say the season has not started according to plan, but it looks like you guys are starting to figure things out.
Yeah, you know, we qualified well in Long Beach. The race was just a disaster, but you know, this weekend we stuck it on the front row. The Lexar car has a good feel about it. Big problem right now is we don't know if it's going to be raining or dry, but rain, I think we're okay. Dry, the car feels very, very fast, so we'll see. I think the biggest thing for us and the whole field right now is trying to get through that turn one and then see what happens from there.
So I was going to say, last week, contact in the first corner. You've got the championship leader in the first corner. How do you approach that, especially on this course?
Well, we don't know if there was any contact. I didn't feel any. Joseph did, so there was a difference of opinions there. But yeah, no, we're all going to try and get through there. It's very tight, very, very tight chicane. There might even be a dry line, a wet line. So hopefully we all get through there in one piece, because if it, you know, the rest of the pack is going to be steaming down on top of us too. So it's the first corner is going to be exciting today.
Are you worried all about the championship, or is it, let's get a win, and then we'll think about things later on?
I'll never even mind a win. Let's get a good result first. We'd love a win today, absolutely. The Target guys are ready to go. They're used to winning. Let's see what we can do. Let's get a good result first. We start doing that, the championship will take care of itself. We're a little ways back right now, but we can get back up there.
All right, front row start today for Dario Franchitti.
Every week you think he's going to turn it around. This could be the race. Well, in the series for the first time this year is a Brazilian driver that fans have been following for 19 years in Formula One. Rubens Barrichello received a warm welcome when introduced a few moments ago, and he's been the subject of a lot of media. When we return, we'll sit down and talk to Rubens Barrichello. He'll be racing here for the first time. Townsend Bell will talk with him. Thousands of race fans are in the stands getting set for the start of the Itaipava Sao Paulo Indy 300. Well, there are 4 Brazilian drivers in today's race, including Ana Beatriz. She will start in 19th position. Tony Kanal will start 11th. Rubens Barrichello 12th. And Helio Castroneves will start in 18th position. In the series for the first time this year is Rubens Barrichello, who has been in Formula One for 19 years. We sat down recently, Townsend Bell did, and talked with the guy who is racing here for the first time, hoping to put on a great show for his hometown favorites.
So you're here now, 19-year F1 veteran. What's it like to have all of the expectation? The expectation is this is the best, one of the best drivers in the world coming to IndyCar. Should be easy, right? Everybody probably expects you to win. How do you compare and contrast that expectation with the reality of what it takes to be successful in IndyCar?
That's a very, very good question, because I've been expecting people to be a bit greedy, saying, well, where's the Formula One? Well, why are you not winning? Why? And I think they actually, you know, they can see the problems that I'm actually facing, and realize that, okay, KV didn't win a race yet, so that's 1 point. The team is not in the level of maybe the Ganassis and the Penske's. I put so much pressure on myself. I want to do so well.
As you now settle in, get faster, more competitive, how has Tony changed in his approach to sharing information and welcoming you into his sport and his world?
We are family. We are definitely family. I mean, it's he's godfather of my son. I'm his kid's godfather. We are family. But if we are going to have any problems, it's not going to be on the racing track. It's to do with people said that because you said that, or that said that. So that's where we need to take care. But I'm the older brother. I need to keep him completely on the same page.
Yeah.
If we crash on the racing track, I'm pretty sure we're gonna hug each other and say, well, that's racing. Our best exercise ever as brothers is this year. So if the last 10 years we've been spending New Year's Eve together, if this year we're not spending together, it's because we did have problems during the year.
How much anxiety, nervousness do you have about your first oval?
I can't wait to actually get the first gear and out of the garage to see what is this new world. And my life has been about challenges, and I enjoy so much. And I think this is something that it came from the skies. I mean, you're gonna have a chance to drive an Indy 500.
I know several F1 drivers have said through the years, I would never do Indy. It's crazy, you know, silly to do this. How do you convince your wife to? I'm married, I've got 2 small kids, and I have to have that talk at home.
Yes.
How do you convince the wife or the family that this is what you need to do?
It's pretty much the same thing. I remember, I mean, if it was yesterday that she looked in my eye and said, oh my God, because she knew I was so happy inside that helmet, that when she said, oh my God, it's because, well, he's definitely will talk to me.
Non-negotiable. He knows it's non-negotiable.
He's going to race. So that was the decision there.
Do you set goals for yourself? Or do you take a much more free-spirited approach to, yeah, we're just going to see how it goes?
I don't think we can take the let's see how it goes, because it's because then you can sit back and say, well, I'm not experienced, so it's going to be okay. You got to have goals. You got to have dreams. And I dream to do very well in the series this year. So my goal is to be happy with myself, but I got to give it my 100% commitment. That's what makes me happy.
And there you see Rubens Barrichello getting strapped into his machine to race in his hometown for the first time in the IZOD IndyCar Series. He's been greeted everywhere this week by media packs and fans that have secured access, and many in the media have been doubling as fans, asking for autographs and pictures. He said he's loved this weekend. He embraces the sport, the support he's been getting, but it has to be grueling. He's got a 7-page list of commitments that he's done this week, well over 30 appearances. He's been racing here for the last 2 decades in Formula One before. His fans, though, have followed him over here. He was top 10 in the last 2 races this season, and he's hoping for something close to the experience he had in '04 in Formula One when he won the pole for Ferrari and finished on the podium in 3rd, and former 500 winner and now NASCAR driver Juan Pablo Montoya won that race.
Without question, a guy who has really boosted the popularity of the IZOD IndyCar Series, Rubens Barrichello. Tony Kanaan also getting in his car ready to go. Helio Castroneves and others as we get set for the start of today's race. IndyCar Central on NBC Sports Network is presented by Verizon, official wireless partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series. Well, the skies don't look too bad, but again, there is a forecast of rain, and because of that, the race is going to start about 15 minutes sooner than originally scheduled, so we should have the command to start engine here in just a few moments. This is the 5th time that Power and Franchitti have started together on the front row. Now, Will has the edge in poles 4-1, but Dario has won all 4 races. So again, he's looking to turn his season around today here in the streets of Sao Paulo. Thanks for watching IndyCar Central on Versus on the NBC Sports Network, presented by Verizon. We'll be right back. The cars have been fired, and we are moments away from the green flag now as the IZOD IndyCar Series visits the streets of Sao Paulo. Don't miss a chance to get in on Honda's fastest seat in sports sweepstakes. You can enter by logging on to shophonda.com. This week's lucky winner is Kristen Rodriguez from Apple Valley, California. By logging on to shophonda.com, Kristen won the opportunity to start today's race in the IZOD two-seater driven by Ari Lyondike. We qualified yesterday. Here's how they will shake out, and here's how they'll line up for today's race. Will Power and Dario Franchitti will be on the front row as Will looks to win 3 consecutive races here at Sao Paulo. Second row will have Scott Dixon and James Hinchcliffe. Row number 3, Ryan Hunter-Reay and Graham Rahal. In the fourth row, Mike Conway inside, Joseph Newgarden on the outside. Row number 5, Ryan Briscoe and Marco Andretti, and a couple of home country favorites in the 6th row.
And yes, you have to go all the way to row 6 to find Brazilians. The brothers, Kanan and Barrichello, they're both good in the rain. In fact, Rubens was 5th in the wet morning warm-up.
13th and 14th on the grid, EJ Viso and J.R. Hildebrand. Charlie Kimball and Simon Pagenaud are back in row number 8. James Jakes and Elio Castroneves in the 9th row. Row number 10, Anna Beatrice and Ed Carpenter. Anna making her first start in the series this year. And in the 11th row, Simona De Silvestro and Sebastian Bourdais.
Yeah, a couple of drivers that are very good in the rain right here in this row. They also have the Lotus Power. They're a little bit less power than the Honda and the Chevrolets, but if we do get some rain, that could be their advantage. So if we get wet, these two drivers could make a really charge to the front.
Oriol Servia and Catherine Legg are in row number 12. In the 13th row, Takuma Sato and Justin Wilson. Wilson failed post-technical inspection for qualifying and was sent to the back of the field. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's look at the track on which they'll be competing.
And of course, you start on the main straightaway where they have permanent grandstands, the Sambadrome. It's where the Carnival marches right down. And then you go to, I think named nicely, the S's of Samba, where you really have to throw the car from one side to another. But long straightaways and hard braking zones, another good passing zone in turn number 5 by the pavilion past turn 10. Then the fastest and longest straightaway anywhere in the series. They may hit as much as 190 miles an hour in the dry, and then a fantastic place to pass and maybe repass in the victory hairpin.
Let's take a look at our onboard cameras. Simon Pagenaud will have the HP onboard camera starting in 16th position. Charlie Kimball has the Novolog FlexPen onboard camera. He will start in 15th. J.R. Hildebrand carries the National Guard onboard camera. He will start from 14th position. Tony Kanaan will have the Itai Pava onboard camera. James Hinchcliffe has the GoDaddy.com. And Will Power carries the Verizon onboard camera. Getting ready for the start. It's 75 laps scheduled, 190.2 miles on this 2.536 mile racetrack.
And you saw the pace car just pull off to screen right. All the races so far this season, the pace car has brought them off and pulled off. They don't have that facility here, so the drivers are on their own to come around turn 11, the final hairpin, and line them up. And they look nice right now, Wally.
And if you notice, the track is not totally dry, so these drivers are going to have to be careful, especially a lot of these guys are on the slick tires, because you get offline, you're going to be sliding.
You heard Dario Franchitti say the big concern is turn number 1. Turn 1 is not all the way dry. It is going to be hair-raising as they come down here the Sambadrome straight.
Look at how they're lined up. A very nice alignment as they come down and get the green flag. Here we go in the Sao Paulo Indy 300. Power looks like we'll get the advantage in turn number 1. Everybody through so far, so good. Maybe a little bumping going on there. Franchitti drops back in behind Will Power. That's Scott Dixon running 3rd.
Well, I think everybody gave each other a lot of room through there. I think they realized it was damp. You can see how damp it is right here as well.
Graham Rahal shown in 4th. He moved up 2 spots. Great start for him.
Right behind him is James Hinchcliffe in the green car. Nice formation again as they come down here, running very, very close together. That was about as good a start as we've seen on the street course this year.
There's a lot of respect right there on this start. Everybody gave each other a lot of rain. A lot of damp on the track. These guys did a nice job.
For those of you who weren't with us for qualifying, that is Dario Franchitti not carrying the normal colors of that team. Lexar is the sponsor of the team this week, and so he has the black and gold.
Oh, and Joseph Newgarden, blue and white, just behind the GoDaddy colors of James Hinchcliffe. He's moving up as well, and we know how quick he is to start. He can get past the first turn in Long Beach, but loves these kind of courses.
Had contact with Franchitti in turn 1 of the first lap at Long Beach. There's Scott Dixon, who's running in 3rd spot.
Oh, and Newgarden got by him. So Newgarden just got by Hinchcliffe, and now Hinchcliffe's coming back.
That's a tough pass to make on the outside going
I don't think so.
He locks the right front up just a little bit. Oh, this is great stuff right here.
S is to Samba. Again, you really got to throw the car. Oh, and Newgarden was late getting in there. This is a long enough straightaway. Wally, this is a place you could make a move.
Kind of not giving him any space to go down the inside.
Little moisture from the back tires of Newgarden there.
Wow, and those are two different power plants. That was Honda versus Chevy, and boy, Wally, they look evenly matched on that straightaway.
We will tell you that the pictures are coming to us from Brazilian TV. We don't have all that great an opportunity to call the shots for you, but we will watch throughout the pack to tell you who's moving up and who's moving backward. Right now, Takuma Sato has gained the fourth positions 4. So has Justin Wilson, who has gained 4 positions. On board with James Hinchcliffe.
Wow, look at how long this straightaway is.
Just
These
listen.
guys are hauling
Just
down
listen to say, wow, I mean, you're flying down here. And Dario staying right with Will Power. Rahal staying with Dixon. Hinchcliffe taking
bit of a defensive move
which
going
is,
into that corner.
Which is allowed this year. You can pick your line. But Conway in the ABC Foyt colors has got him sized up.
He's going to go for it.
Try the inside.
Nice move. Made it very nice.
That's one of the things about taking a defensive line, Wally. When you do that, you're not going to be as quick off the corner. Mike Conway sees the moment.
And now Hinchcliffe has to worry about Ryan Hunter-Reay in the yellow and white car.
And I'm looking back, seeing as though Briscoe looks like he might make a move. He's got Hitachi colors. He looked like he was closing in as well.
Boy, Franchitti's not letting Will Power out of his sights. This guy's really has struggled with the balance on that car, the Franchitti team, and boy, Dario looks pretty strong here right now.
Separation is less than a second, just a matter of car lengths, then a little bit of space back to Scott Dixon continuing to run in 3rd. And Kevin has more on Will Power. Kevin.
Will Power has talked this year that he has simply a different perspective. After what happened at Las Vegas last year, he said he refocused. Now he's just enjoying how fortunate he is and understanding that he has the best job that he's ever going to have. He's more relaxed. He says he's sleeping better, having fun, and it seems to have helped the performance as well.
Wow. If Will Power is sleeping well, that's not good for everyone else. Because he is very, very talented. But wouldn't you say, Wally, what trips him up occasionally is tipping over the edge, getting overly aggressive. But this year, I can't remember a mistake that Power's made this year. He's been rock solid.
Yeah, and he's been very, very fast everywhere. You really need a guy like Franchitti to put some pressure on him. I mean, you know, you're right, he has been fast everywhere he's gone.
There's Graham Rahal. Charlie Kimball's onboard camera running. Oh, Viso in the middle and Hildebrand on the outside.
Yeah, knew that was coming. Looks like he got away with it. Didn't break the wing. Oh, a little more contact. I love these guys that think, oh, that it did break the wing.
Yep.
Yep.
And it flies off the car.
Yeah. And you know that makes a big difference on a track like this.
Oh, absolutely.
You run as much downforce as you can on these cars to put grip into the racetrack, so that will hurt him, especially getting into the corners.
We've had a nice clean start, still under green here. 75-lap race, and 4 laps have been completed. It's Power, Franchitti, Dixon, Rahal, and Newgarden. The Sao Paulo Indy 300 on NBC Sports Network is brought to you by Honda, the engine supplier of the IZOD IndyCar Series, and by Mother's Polish. There's no shine like Mother's. Well, the city streets are still very busy, but it's even busier on the race circuit at the Sao Paulo Indy 300. Will Power continues to lead Dario Franchitti. We expect a lot of contact on this track, and Jan Vika says there is an opportunity for a quick change at the rear of the car as well as the front. Here's his Professor B.
It's become commonplace that if you take a hit on the front end, especially with the front wings or the nose, you can make a quick change on pit road by what's known as a cam lock. You can quickly disconnect the front nose and make a change during a pit stop. Now, these very same pieces for 2012 have been incorporated to the rear of the car. So Team Barracuda BHA is going to give us a quick demo. Go! Now, they have cheated just a little bit by pre-disconnecting the rain light and the onboard camera. But essentially, if you get this done just right, nicely done. That was just under 12 seconds. Now, I've talked about the pieces being the same, the pins and the receptacle, but if you look at the nose, the pins stay with the nose. So if they're damaged, you get fresh pins. But at the rear section, the actual pins stay on the gearbox. So if there's damage, you're probably done for the day. But Dallara points out, if you damage the pins at the back of the gearbox, you probably have much bigger issues. Now, the change happens quickly, but these are very expensive assemblies. The front nose, $23,000. This whole rear assembly will set you back $30,000.
You know, and I know Dallara's in it to make some money, but I love to see these guys banging off each other. I just wish that they would make these wings a little bit stronger so they could get away with doing that once or twice before something breaks like that. Because still, that's great you can change it, but in Kimball's instance, he's got to wait for a pit stop. He's going to lose a ton of ground because of that wing being broke. I'd just like to see these pieces a little stronger because the contact we're seeing, it's pretty cool. And you know, it used to be if you did that, you spent a lot of time making these changes. So the change is quick. That's great. Just like to see him make them a little bit tougher.
Boy, Mike Conway would really like to get around Joseph Newgarden. He is all over the rear of that car. We might mention that the Barracuda team, Brian Herta, is not here this weekend. They have chosen to set out this race, and they are one of two teams who will be switching to the Honda engine from the Lotus beginning at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The other team, of course, is the Dreyer and Reinbold team with Oriol Servia.
I tell you what, Conway's pretty fast right now, just looking visibly. I mean, he's really got some speed in that car. He's just trying to pick his spot, hoping Newgarden will make one little mistake or give him just that little bit of an opening where he can make an out-braking move.
And what he did last time with Hinchcliffe was he showed speed. Hinchcliffe took a defensive posture, then he took advantage later. So that's clever. You get close enough to worry someone, make them make a defensive move first, then you can do the over-under.
Separation up front, by the way, is 1.3 seconds. That's the lead that Power has over Franchitti. Here are Tony Kanaan and Rubens Barrichello, the good buddies, doing battle, and Tony is able to take that spot away.
Wow, Tony got a real big draft off that car. And that's what you need to be close enough to where you can make that move right there at the end. You look at Conway. Conway just isn't up far enough on Newgarden to pull out and try to make that braking move.
Here's the tracker on the Brazilian drivers. Kanaan running the best in 11th. Barrichello is down to 13th. E.J. Viso has positioned himself between Kanaan and Barrichello. Sato and Wilson continue to be the two drivers who have gained the most positions. Newgarden 3. Simon Pagenaud has gained 2 positions. So has Ed Carpenter.
You can see Joseph looking in the mirrors. A nice blue and white. They've put day glow strips on the front of that car to help distinguish that from Pagenaud. Definitely easy to spot, and especially with Newgarden right across the rear wing.
Yeah, Conway just has to get through turn 10 a little bit better, which leads on to that backstretch. He looks like he's getting through the last corner and the first few corners better than Newgarden. But Newgarden looks like he's getting off a little bit.
There's 10 right there.
Yeah.
Did you guys think during the winter months that we would be talking as much as we have about a guy like Joseph Newgarden with the team Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing. He's been very, very impressive.
Well, they've both been impressive because she and her team, along with Hartman, have really picked up their game with the engineering staff on road courses. Now, we know they were fast on ovals. Ed Carpenter showed that, having won in favor of Penske Ganassi, but a huge step forward, all of a sudden being this competitive. And here you have the Indy Lights reigning champ coming in here and showing why the Mazda Road to Indy is working.
And we just watched on board on Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe looks like he's having a little trouble with rear grip getting off the corners. He's really, really good under braking, but it sounded like the tires lighted up a little bit coming off the corner.
Joseph Newgarden is only 21 years of age. Kevin is down on pit lane. Kevin?
And he's got a good sense of humor as well. At Long Beach a couple of weeks ago, for fun, he went out with a video camera in the paddock on Saturday afternoon without a fire suit and interviewed fans and asked them if they knew who this young driver was, and named Joseph Newgarden. And all of them, at least that they showed on his video report, didn't have any idea who he was. He would show the hero card and look at me. No, that didn't help. He's obviously got a good sense of humor. He's very loose. Most importantly, he's aggressive and he's fast.
Good performance so far in 2012. There is Tony Kanaan, who is running in 10th place, looking back on Marco Andretti and EJ Viso as Helio Castroneves has made a quick pit stop.
And that would be because this is now, the window is open. This is expected, again, if it stays dry, it would be a 3-stop race. So he's getting done early. That's one of the things you want to do when you're on alternate strategy. The window opens. You don't know what's going to happen with the weather. Stop early.
Different colors for TK this year, carrying the colors of the sponsor of the race, Ipava.
Quite a pack right here.
Yep.
Battle going on with about 9 or 10 of these cars.
And we saw a move about a lap or so ago of Viso in the Sitco colors, and it looked like Pagenaud also at the same time now working on Barrichello just at the back of this train. And there's Pagenaud. So that is the entrance to pit lane. They've lowered the speed limit to 50 miles an hour because you actually cover less ground. Let's get down to Kevin.
We'll see Simon Pagenaud come by first. 50 miles an hour is the pit lane speed here. He's pitted up a little bit ahead of Takuma Sato, who's in the back. Both of these drivers have picked up some pace. Sato didn't get a chance to qualify because of the engine change yesterday. He's picked up at least 5 spots. It's a great pit stop for the Schmidt-Hamilton team. Pagenaud is out first, and it's a much longer pit stop for Takuma Sato, who is now away.
Boy, they were cranking some wing in that thing.
Big time.
Obviously, the car's not turning for him, so he's got to push in the car. They put a lot of front wing in there to hopefully get some downforce on the front.
This is the 12th consecutive race that Will Power has led, going back to Toronto last year. He has a 2-second lead on Dario Franchitti.
It's Brazil, baby. What else do you need to know? Gorgeous country and such passionate fans. Just seeing the support there for TK and for Helio and Vitor and Rafa and Bia. Now this year we got Barrichello. It's going to be crazy. That straightaway from the last corner. You can bet that the race will not be decided until that corner. That one's going to be question mark. It's just so inviting.
The thoughts of James Hinchcliffe while we were in break. Look at Ryan Hunter-Reay in the yellow and white car move to the inside of Hinchcliffe and take the position from him. That moves Ryan Hunter-Reay up to 7th. And Hinchcliffe gave him a pretty good battle down the front stretch.
It just doesn't look like he's getting off the corners the way he wants, Hinchcliffe.
And more from Kevin.
James Hinchcliffe, as you've mentioned, has lost a little bit of time. I think the team obviously is wondering if there's an issue as well. They've asked him, how is the car? Any issues? He's not responded to this point, so they're still waiting for a report. The other story is it's starting to sprinkle, picking up just a little bit to the point where teams are talking back and forth. When is the right time to come in for rain tires? I don't think they have to come in right at this second, but it's getting close. If it rains just the way it is for another few minutes, the track is going to be a little bit more moist.
And a lot of times when a driver won't respond, it's because he has his hands full. He doesn't have time to push the button and talk.
Sorry, Sam, I'm a little busy right now.
This is the onboard from Simon Pagenaud. He's 24th. That's Helio right behind him as Helio tries to get around. These guys have made pit stops. And by the way, there was a drive-through penalty assessed to Takuma Sato for speeding. We showed him in his pit stop that took forever, and then he was caught speeding, so he'll have to do a drive-through penalty.
Well, Elio's got a good setup right here. It may not be quite close enough unless he gains some down the straightaway here.
We've talked about both these cars having pitted. Now that would actually work against them if it starts to rain. You would pit early hoping it was going to stay dry. The people who have stayed out there now have more of a chance to decide when they come to the pits what tires do they want. So they want it to stay dry. The rest of the team wouldn't mind some sprinkles.
But the thing is, the track's got to be wet before you can put the rain tires on.
Absolutely.
So
here's a replay of Charlie Kimball getting around Marco Andretti.
Whoa, but I was going to say, how are you going to get turned? Oh,
nice.
Man.
Marco.
Wow.
That was pretty close.
You know, Marco is one of the more aggressive drivers for sure. Now he's going to the reds, and when they put the alternate red, softer tires, everyone, Wally, is going with lots of front wing.
Yeah.
Well, the city of Sao Paulo is nicknamed the land of drizzle, and apparently that's what we have going on right now. Will it pick up in intensity? And we have to have all the drivers come in and do a tire change. We'll keep our eye on.
Watch Justin Wilson. Justin Wilson was one of the fastest. That's red and white, Sonny's Barbecue. He's on the outside. He just drives past Hildebrand. He had the fastest split times, almost 190 miles an hour in qualifying. That Honda, they took some wing out, and he's flying.
That's pretty strong. He outbraked him on the outside there.
Yeah, he was 188 point something in qualifying.
And he has gained more positions. Talking about Justin Wilson, he has gained more positions so far than any other driver. He's up 11 spots from his starting grid.
And remember, he made the Firestone Fast 6, but then it was taken away, and he peels off to pit road. A very unique racetrack where the pits are nowhere near the main straightaway. Kevin?
Waiting for Justin Wilson to show down here on pit road. He's coming in at 50 miles an hour. We'll start to see others in a moment. They are not ready for the rain tires. It's not raining hard enough to move to the rain tires. So they have the red alternate, softer compound tires. It's a little bit moist. The reds are going to be better than the sticker blacks. So they'll change and see if they can continue that march through the field. Justin Wilson, as mentioned, quick yesterday, and now they've stalled the car. The car has stalled, so critical time lost. They've got the starter back out of the way. Probably lost about 6 or 7 seconds as Wilson gets back on track.
Wow. Yeah. He had really picked up some spots on the racetrack and loses them all in the pit area.
Yeah, you lose 7 seconds in the pits. That's a lot harder to gain that on the racetrack.
Absolutely.
There is the leader of the race, Will Power. He's led from the drop of the green flag, and his advantage on Dario Franchitti. There comes Dario off the corner. Actually, it's not a corner. It's a kind of a bend in the straightaway. Anyway, the difference is 2.8 seconds, so he has definitely inched his way forward and now is almost 3 seconds ahead of Dario.
And the leaders should not have to pit for quite some time. Now, they could choose to, but they should have enough fuel to go another 6 or so laps if they want to wait to see what happens with the weather.
22 is about the farthest they want to stretch it.
Again, unless you've got Will Power out there doing his super fuel safe job and trying to pull one over on us again.
Yeah.
Wow, look at Conway.
Yeah, Conway
He's just making some ground up.
Hildebrand on pit road.
Hildebrand also changing to the red alternate tires. No rain tires yet, and it has dissipated a little bit, so it's just a very light sprinkle. So I think at the pace it's at now, it's not really going to impact this race much.
And he did not have a front wing change. They put on the alternate tires from primary, and Wally, not a touch to the front wings.
We see a few raindrops on some camera lenses as we watch EJ Viso and Tony Kanaan battle for position, and Viso is going to get it. That moves Viso up to 10th, and Kanaan goes out of the top 10. Will Power leads Dario Franchitti, then Dixon, Rahal, and Conway at the Sao Paulo Indy 300.
There's Justin Wilson on pit road as he comes back in, and also we see Tony Kanaan right behind him. Scott Dixon came in as well on this. He came in running in 30, and he was the quickest to get out. Still routine stops at this point for everyone.
With the exception of Wilson. Wilson had a problem. So Wilson was coming back slowly onto pit road. Something's wrong with Justin, but those would be scheduled stops for everyone else.
Look at him whip through there.
Yeah. Yeah,
and there's
Wilson's still there.
It's maybe a gearbox problem. Looks like he's having a hard time getting it in gear.
Wow.
That's too bad. He
What
was
a
flying.
shame. Yeah, he had speed for sure. Dale Coyne, Sonny's Barbecue. We talked in the qualifying show yesterday about he being reunited with his engineer Bill Pappas, and those guys are a very powerful combination. Will Power, speaking of powerful combinations, he continues to be able to drive away from people and save fuel. We think that you could do 2 to 3 more laps in fuel save mode, and he's doing that while pulling away from Franchitti.
See what kind of top speeds we see here. Maybe not. There we go. Came in a little bit late there, but
yeah, his trap speed just before he got on the brakes. For some reason it was lower, 166. I think he might have hit the brakes just prior to that trap, because we see some other splits are up in 188.
Well, like you said, maybe he is saving a little bit of fuel right now.
That's because that is that's the fuel save mode, is you lift just before you go to the brakes, and that would be right where that trap is measured. Good one.
Another drive-through penalty issued to Anna Beatrice for speeding on pit lane.
Yeah, see, there you go. Look at this. It's 176.
Yeah.
What on this? And this is not even the fastest. That straightaway is longer than Long Beach, and it's not even the longest one. This has got some great length straightaways. And as Will has said, he thinks the smoothest. I don't know why he keeps saying it's the smoothest circuit. It looks pretty bumpy down this straightaway coming up. But
he would love to see it start raining, because he's staying out the longest, and he's going to try. I mean, if it starts raining, they come in and put the rains. They've got an advantage.
Second place car, on pit lane. And here comes Graham Rahal to his pit box, to the attention of his crew. No adjustments at the front end. And away he goes.
Everybody's together again, other than Hunter Ray, because he had to serve that penalty.
Right.
we're also seeing a little bit of the same disparity that caught us out a little bit, or me anyway, in Long Beach, in that the Chevrolets can certainly go longer than the Hondas. We saw that play out in the race, definitely in Long Beach. It looks like that remains the same here in Brazil, with Power staying out. Franchitti, who's great at saving fuel, and Scott Dixon, who's really good, was even in a lap earlier.
J.R. Hildebrand running in 17th position. Will Power stays out. Ryan Hunter-Reay now has moved up to 2nd position.
You saw a very brief shot. Oh. Well, blue and white, so we've got a... Oh, that's Catherine Lake.
Yes, it is. Let's see if we can... Oh, yeah.
Turn 10.
Ooh, Hunter-Reay did a good job.
Wow, you get outside of that rubber groove and it gets away in a hurry.
Conway and Ryan Hunter-Reay both did a good job of avoiding her car after it banged the wall. And she is limping toward pit lane.
That's the pit entrance, so she'll make it.
Winning the pole at Long Beach, he has the first pit stall, so a clean exit for Ryan Briscoe. Mike Conway will roll right in front of him, but it's still been a strong run so far for Ryan Briscoe, picking up some spots in this race.
Now, you look at that left rear wheel and how much of it's missing. You got to wonder, that stuff's laying on the racetrack somewhere.
Now, Power should pit. And Justin Wilson there. Confirmation they still haven't fixed their issue, and yes, the team for Power is set out. He hits
there
pit
he
road.
Is. Yep. The leader is on pit lane. Will Power. We have Ryan Briscoe against the
Tim Cindric has been warning Will Power to watch his pit speed. Several have gotten dinged already. Power coming down. He'll go right in front of Ryan Hunter-Reay, and the Andretti Autosport team will move away one of the tires, so for an easier in for Ryan Hunter-Reay, or for Will Power, I should say. Hunter-Reay will be coming in just a moment, so we'll be watching to see his Power exit, where he gets back in. in the mix with Dario Franchitti, is already pitted at the primary blacks for Will Power, who's back out and gets out right in front of Simona Di Silvestro, so a better chance at clean track position. Hunter Ray is in behind him. Justin Wilson is back on track, so they have addressed their issue. So Wilson, now several laps down, is back out on course.
And here's the reason for now the full course caution. Ooh, Ryan Briscoe took it in pretty heavy, didn't he?
You know, we've seen it a lot this year. These guys, when they lock up the front wheel, the cars go straight, and it's really hard to get them back under control, especially on a corner like that.
And they did leave the pits open. So it is a full course caution. The pits are open. And because it was very convenient that the leader had just pitted, right. So Bo Barfield, the race director, can do that. But now I wonder, those who are on the really early strategy, they might decide, hey, I'm going to come in again now and top up.
So Ryan Briscoe will be the reason for the caution. His best finish here was last year when he finished third. His best start was fourth also last year. Came into this event seventh in the point standings, but it's going to hurt him here this weekend.
I saw it look like Wilson was right back there in line, about the third car in line. Obviously, he's probably a few laps down, but whatever the problem was, they worked on it and got it fixed.
He's shown as 5 laps down at the moment.
Well, so far, Will Power has everything going exactly his way. Not only does he get out in the lead, he has a couple lap cars between he and Franchitti.
Notice those flags on the front straightaway are moving a lot harder than they were about 10 or 15 minutes ago.
This is where you would peel off to the pits. I wouldn't think anyone in the front would do it, but it's possible someone near the rear, few tail enders, everyone else already happy with their service.
All right, looks like everybody is going to stay out. We've completed 24 laps of the 75. That will make up the Itaipava Sao Paulo Indy 300.
Voigt's pit stops are actually not bad.
City traffic moving as normal on a Sunday afternoon in Sao Paulo, Brazil. But just to the left of that massive traffic is the race course on which the drivers are competing today here in Sao Paulo. Here's the reason we're under caution. Ryan Briscoe in the Hitachi sponsored car.
Okay, watch this. It's really,
if we stop it right about here first, Wally, I think what you're going to get to is right here. Watch that front tire, because as he clears, lets it roll now, it'll come across the bumps and actually get in the air right when he's wanting to turn.
Right, and brake. See how that car's bouncing? Well, when the tire is off the ground and you're on the brake pedal, it's gonna lock up. And you can see the little flat spot right there. It's gonna lock up. And you know, it's because there's no pressure on the tires. So when you're on the pedal and the front of the car is flying off the ground, all of a sudden it locks up. Once you get to this point, you're not getting any more grip in the front. That's why it won't turn. And then finally you see the wall coming, and then you just pile on the brakes.
Sebastian Bourdais and Ana Beatriz are leaving pit lane. We are a third of the way through our race here under a full course caution because of the accident involving Ryan Briscoe. Back with more on the NBC Sports Network. You can sign up for the Nissan Ultimate Access Sweepstakes. Just enter the code word Cali at NBCSports.com/Ultimate Access for a chance to win a trip to the Amgen Tour of California, plus exclusive team access to Radio Shack Nissan Trek.
And you know, earlier, Bob, we were talking about Team Barracuda BHA, and you said they did not come down here because they've ended that relationship with Lotus, right, as has Dreyer and Reinbold. Of course, Robin Miller is hanging with us as well. Now, I think that Bob jumped the gun saying they'd be with Honda. Nothing has been announced, but I think maybe it'll be a toss-up of 2 manufacturers.
Right, because, you know, Hurt he's been talking to Honda for almost 6 weeks, John, and we saw him coming out of the truck at Long Beach, and I think, you know, Dreyer and Reinbold would certainly like to be with Chevrolet, and I think that's where they'll probably end up after this thing plays out. But Jay Penske's the other guy. You're thinking, okay, these guys are jumping. Why is he going to stay? Well, we've heard that they might have bought him Lotus might have bought him a car. He certainly knows he's got Sebastian Bourdais, one of the best drivers in the series. He's kind of stuck with the Lotus right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the next week or so when we come to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And one other thing, Ryan Hunter-Reay was not assessed a drive-through penalty. It was a 25 car in Anna Beatrice, and Ryan Hunter-Reay is third. They're the second car in line on your left. But they line up 2 by 2, about to enter the victory hairpin.
That's Wilson up there on the front row. It's 4 laps down. It's 4 laps down? 5 laps down right now. So they did have some shifting problems.
Well, they sure had a successful start of the race. Let's see if a restart goes as well, as Paul Blevin waves the green flag and we're off and running again.
Whoa,
wow,
Scott
Dixon made a move.
Scott and
Mike Conway. Oh, he hit Frank Keedy.
And Keedy.
Mike Conway punted, got right into the back of Frank Keedy, and look at all the cars going through the runoff.
Newgard, Rahal among 4 that went into the runoff. Well,
you
it
could
wasn't
see,
successful.
You could see Conway was coming in there with a head of steam and couldn't get it stopped and got right into the back of Dario Franchitti.
Wow. The bad luck continues
no
for
kidding.
Dario.
Cannot catch a break. Should be interesting with Wilson. He's been fast.
Yep.
And he has fast straightaway speeds. They have gone with lower downforce, so I would not be surprised if Wilson goes flying by power on that back straightaway.
Watch Conway, right? You can see he locked the tires up, trying to get the car stopped, but couldn't do it. You're right, Jan. He just had way too much steam going in there.
So Dario's backwards, and then 4 cars have to take evasive action. Oh, you'll see it right here. Oh, perfect. ABC colors on the left. That's Conway. Pow. Makes the contact.
Oh, wow,
and
Newgard.
Contact behind.
I don't know how Newgard had any room going through there.
Oh, look at this. What a place to have super slow-mo. Perfect. Wow. And is there contact here between teammates? Look out.
I don't know.
No,
wow.
They got through there, but it was close. Frank Keady's still sitting down. Oh, they got him fired up. Oh, they threw it full course. Wow, that saved him there for going a lap down.
Yes.
Watch Newgarden over here, way to the left. I mean, is he getting a wall?
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
He does get into the wall.
Pagano right beside him.
But he kind of hit that wall flat. He may not be too bad, Kevin.
Joseph Newgarden has already come in. They were concerned about that. They said, come in, we'll change tires. He was one of the first to come in on the first stint. They said, we'll assess it. Everything's okay, so Newgarden is back out. They don't believe there's any damage to the car. We have tires set up for Simon Pagano and also for Mike Conway, among those here on pit road.
I wonder if Conway had a lot of damage on the front of his car. No, it looks...
Now that's James Jakes. Yeah.
Because he hit him pretty hard.
And he does have damage on that left front wing, so they're going to go ahead and use those cam locks that we talked about and make a quick change on that nose.
They haven't changed the front of Kimball's yet.
That was...
He still...
Guess he likes it.
He's got the damage on the right front wing is still broken there.
As mentioned, they are changing the front wing for Mike Conway. Also right behind me, we saw James Jakes already make his stop. He rolls through. So some damage on the front wing for Mike Conway. It'll cost him some time on pit road, but he's back out here under yellow.
And what this means is we're going to have another 2 abreast restart.
And you know, it's the Brazilian yellow, fellas. Look at 4th, 5th, and 6th. Castro Neves, Barrichello, Kanan, and Graham Rahal was the big loser in that when he took evasive action.
All right, well, while we're under caution here, we'll get another commercial break in. You're watching live coverage of the Itaipava Sao Paulo Indy 300 for the IZOD IndyCar Series. Just as you rejoin us, Dario Franchitti comes in for another pit stop.
Maybe just making another check of the back of the rear of that car. You can see those guys were looking hard on seeing if there was any additional damage.
Kevin has more.
Scott Dixon asked if Dario Franchitti's car was okay. His strategist Mike Hull said, we think so. He flew over the curb and no one hit him. He said, we could have just slipped a piece of paper between you two, though. They came in, made a quick stop. It looks like they assessed the car and didn't find any damage for Dario Franchitti.
Very good.
Should also say we have word that race control is reviewing the incident, and Bo Barfield believes that if there was contact, avoidable contact, it doesn't matter. Even if you made a pit stop and you're at the back, he will penalize people if they make that call. They're still looking at it.
If he doesn't, I think he's going to get a penalty anyway, because there's Franchitti right behind him. Franchitti's waiting for that call too.
At the back of the field, but nevertheless they're together on the racetrack, and here we go once again as they come off the victory hairpin.
Franchitti did not lose a lap, so he's still a player.
He's in 22nd position, the last car on the lead lap.
Canan to the inside.
Hey, you got him. Got Castroneves.
All the Brazilians together. He got by Castroneves, and now Barrichello. Woo! Rubens is sliding it.
Letting it all
Castroneves taking a look.
And
yeah.
Castroneves is going to get him.
Battle for 5th behind Tony Canan. Oh,
Newgarden and Kimball and Bourdais, but Bourdais still running, and Conway. And James Jakes is in the back in the Boy Scouts of America car.
Wow. Okay, we just got the word that there will be no penalty assessed to Mike Conway in his bump with Dario Franchitti a while ago.
Until our, what should we call you, a prophet, who said he was going to get a penalty, and sure enough, he stopped on track.
Yep.
Although it wasn't Dario who delivered it.
How do you know? We haven't seen the replay yet.
Okay.
That's how they're checking the front of his nose to make sure it was secure for ramming speed wall.
Joseph Newgarden signaling the
here's your replay.
Members of the rescue team. Oh.
Nope, that was just...
Wow.
Yep. Dario actually discretioned the better part of valor by hanging back. So Newgarden appeared as though he just... Oh, he got a hit. Sure enough. Simona de Silvestro gave him a nudge.
Yep. Well, a rash of cautions here has slowed down the pace.
They say that yellow breeds yellow.
That's for sure.
Why they say it.
Joseph Newgarden has severe damage to the front end of his car. Maybe it is just a matter of replacing the nose and the front wings. There is Sebastian Bourdais.
It was rolling.
Bourdais rolling. Yeah,
it was rolling, but never seemed to get up to speed. So now this is 2 races in a row where Newgarden has been tapped on the very same left rear tire. And I know that Dario said in the beginning, well, there's a difference of opinion, but Sarah Fisher has a rim that she has now displaying in her office with red paint on it.
Yeah, I mean, I could have swore I saw contact on one of our replays at Long Beach. I mean, there's no question in my mind that as fast as Newgarden spun around and got in the wall, that was contact.
And this one was
certainly
definitely contact.
Yeah.
And that's at the exit of the Esses de Samba. So they stepped on each other's feet on their dance moves on that one. All right, here comes Canan. He goes, well, I'm going up the inside.
That was really a good move. I was almost an evasive move, but he pulled it off.
So Barrichello now. And watch Barrichello coming off this corner. He's going to get big time sideways.
Again, we have little control over what you're seeing. It isn't that we are showing you in the pictures that we normally do. We're under the auspices of the Canadian broadcast or the Brazilian broadcasters.
See, it was Rubens, because of that, had to actually go to the inside of the curbing to take evasive action in turn 2.
Well, at the top of your screen, you can see how they're running now. Power, high and Hunter Way, Dixon, Canan, and Castroneves are the top 5. Then Barrichello running in 6th position. So the three of the 4 Canadians, 4th, or Canadians, Brazilians.
Wow,
are
Bob,
4th,
that's twice.
5th and 6th. I know, somebody slapped me.
Okay.
No, not you. Well, you can catch
Simona came in there in the green and white car, came in there quite quickly. And poor James Jakes had absolutely no place to go.
All right, catch every game of the 2012 Stanley Cup playoffs on the networks of NBC Universal. Tonight, Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals, Nashville at Phoenix. It all begins with NHL Live at 7 o'clock Eastern. Every game, every night, because it's the Cup. Some excellent coverage by the NBC folk, and some great games in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. Very, very entertaining stuff. And Newgarden is getting a new front end.
Some of which they play in Canada, which is probably where you got that from. Yeah.
But these guys are, they've lost a lap, though.
You know, but if that car, you know, you talked about the strength of the wings. You'd like to see even more. But these cars and these wings this year, they've been a big step. When you see that kind of contact and you come in to make a pit stop and go back out, they have definitely stepped up this car as far as what it can take and have some bumping and keep on ticking. And you even talked about Kimball. They still haven't even chosen to change that front wing.
That's surprising.
So hats off to Dallara for making something a bit stronger. These guys can lean on each other and keep on going.
Sebastian Bourdais moving back onto the racetrack. Simona De Silvestra's car still not able to move, and looks like she's been refired. We clicked off the first 25 or so laps very, very quickly, but now we've had 3 consecutive cautions that have taken up the last 7 laps. And Simona's car will get restarted here in just a moment. Caution still is out. Will Power has command of the field, as he has from nearly the drop of the green flag. Welcome back to the streets of Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the Sao Paulo Indy 300. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with Jan Beekes and Wally Dalla back here in the booth. Kevin Lee and is down on pit lane. Robin Miller is also a part of the broadcast team.
You see Dario Franchitti there in all of these changes and pit stops by people like Castro Neves and others. Franchitti's now up to 9th.
Yeah. And just ahead of him is Oriol Servia in one of the Lotuses, the Wix sponsored car this weekend.
That's what we were just talking about, that Dreyer and Reinbold, what was and still is, at least at this race, Lotus, Dreyer and Reinbold is going to switch engine manufacturers. Again, not announced. Robin Miller saying maybe Chevrolet. So a change coming for Oriol Servia, but right now he's making good progress with the Lotus.
By the way, Oriol has made the biggest net gain of positions in the first 3 races this year, improving a total of 27 spots. Okay, once again, guys, take it easy this time. Let's get some green flag running under our belt.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay, you'll see, has the red sidewalls, the alternates. Will Power is on the black, so does Dixon. So you've got a mix of tires at the front. It should be crazy again.
Here we go. Green flag for the restart on lap number 33. Whoa, look at this.
Tony Kanaan tries to go around the outside. It's not going to work on Dixon.
Graham Rahal, penalty for speeding on pit lane. Meanwhile, they come down here, and Ryan Hunter-Reay is right on the back of Will Power. Anna Beatrice running in 7th position. She's in that yellow and blue car right there. Her first.
Hunter-Reay is there, man. He is putting some pressure on right now.
He has, of course, the alternate softer tires, which will get you faster through 10, but they both have Chevrolet power. You can get a draft here. It's long enough.
I just don't think he got off 10 well enough that time to be close enough.
There he comes.
Dixon also closing in third.
It's awfully hard to outbrake Will Power.
Oh, yeah. You're right. He needed to, as in Ryan Hunter-Reay, needed to be just a little closer to take full advantage of that draft. But when you want to know how dominant Will Power is here and has been this season, when you have to fight that hard, when you're on the faster tires, especially when they're colder, and he can drive away from you, that just shows the level. I mean, Will Power and this team, Penske, is, at least so far this season, at a different level.
Yeah, and don't forget, yes, he did start from the pole in St. Pete, but he finished 7th in that race. The 2 races that he has won, Barber, he started 9th, in Long Beach 2 weeks ago, started 12th after the penalty of the Chevy teams. Helio Castroneves back in 8th position. Just ahead of him is Ana Beatriz, E.J. Viso.
Now, the other interesting thing, Bob, there was enough caution and Will Power stopped late enough that it should turn into a 2-stop race for him now because of all that caution and restarts.
Oh, look, there's some damage to Elio's front wing.
Oh, yeah.
And he just made a pit stop, so that would have happened very recently.
J.R. Hildebrand taking a look to the inside.
Oh, there's contact. That was Pagenaud. There was definitely contact on the inside of turn 11 in the hairpin. In fact, Pagenaud, yes, blue and white car, and a piece of the wing just flew off.
Yep.
That's the HP colors.
On board with J.R. Hildebrand running 10th. Looking back on Hinchcliffe.
And he's making a fuel adjustment. That is back with the manufacturer. You saw his left hand go down to the knob on the steering wheel. And I said that because of the caution periods now, it may turn into a 2-stop race. They'll call you and tell you to change the lean map of the engine. Okay, here's where the contact was, but I think it was actually ahead.
Marco.
Yes, but Marco got in from behind, but it was Pagenaud because we're looking off the back. But Simon made contact with the car ahead of him, and that's why the front wing went flying off on that next straightaway.
Right now, there are 7 Chevy engines in the first 8 positions. Scott Dixon running in 3rd spot is the only Honda in the top 8.
Hey, Jan, if you got red tires on like Hunter-Reay and you can't pass power, you got to be pretty depressed, don't you?
Yeah, it's just, like I said, they have got their street course set up, and the way they can push, they're impressive.
Simon Pagenaud has made a pit stop. Here it is.
That's what you're talking about, Jan. Just a couple of turns of the wrench.
Cam locks, there you go. They spend a lot of time practicing that, and they practiced that while making fuel and tire change. This time they didn't have to. It was just a straight wing change because they had been on pit road just previous.
Dixon and Kanaan are 3rd and 4th. Then comes Barrichello and Viso.
But they're going to need a caution for that to take advantage of that.
Bourdais.
Got the car in reverse.
I'll say he had some good velocity in reverse going there.
We mentioned Takuma Sato a couple of times during the broadcast. We haven't mentioned the fact that he is up to 11th.
And that was with a drive-through. He had a speeding. Remember, first he had a slower pit stop, then had a drive-through. So nice job, Takuma.
And Ana Beatriz, great job by that Brazilian driver. Running just ahead of Helio Castroneves and Dario Franchitti.
The Ipiranga is the colors of Ana Beatriz, which are petrol stations in Brazil.
J.R. Hildebrand running 10th. Takuma Sato is the car right behind JR. Close it in quickly.
Now, Sato is one I would have to say Wally would be hoping for rain, because he's a guy who's fast in the rain. He'd like to have a little help from above.
And he's got good track position now, where if it started in the front of the beginning of the race, because he was in the back, it would have been a lot tougher. So yeah, he's put himself in a great spot.
Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan Racing back strong. They have a very strong engineering group, having brought in some former Formula One engineers. And Takuma due to get a teammate for the Indy 500.
Frankie, you gonna take a look here? Yes, he is.
He's looking. Is he? Yes.
He will make the pass.
You got to think Elio's front wing is hurting him a little bit on that long straightaway.
Yes.
And then here is Ana Beatriz, started in 19th position and is currently up to 7th, having a good run. 39 laps completed of 75 here at Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the rain so far has held off. Just past the halfway mark, here's the race recap.
And of course, the start was clean as can be. The pace car pulled off early, but everyone minded their P's and Q's. They didn't know what kind of track conditions to expect. But then as the track started to dry out, they started to take chances first. Ryan Briscoe got across the bumps, couldn't get it to turn, and kablamo into the concrete on the outside of turn number 10. That then set up the next restart to where now we're more aggressive. Conway, ABC Supply, gets into the back of the black machine of Dario Franchitti. Lots of cars take evasive action. And look at this super slow-mo, and I think Mike Hall said it exactly right. You could put a piece of paper between these two team cars as Franchitti settles after flying over the curbs. Amazingly, Franchitti has recovered running 8th at the moment. Then, of course, this pileup, Charlie Kimball looks ahead as we see the contact to Joseph Newgarden that came courtesy of Simona De Silvestro.
J.R. Hildebrand in 11th position now, as just moments ago, Takuma Sato, that we talked about just before we went to break. Takuma was able to get around Hildebrand, and so Takuma Sato, and here it is, moves into the top 10. This is the Bobby Rahal car.
Sato's been, if you watch him the whole race, he has been really diving in deep under braking. So he is, that's how you get it done.
Yeah, that was all braking. That wasn't horsepower. That was just waiting until Hildebrand got on the brakes and then 1, 2, go.
That's basically chicken. You're just playing chicken. You're waiting for that guy to lift, and then you just stay in it just a second longer.
The separation between first and second is almost 2 seconds now, as Tony Kanaan we see moving on to pit lane. Kevin Lee is down on pit lane. Kevin?
Tony Kanaan has worked his way up to the 4th position. He's the only one on pit road right now, but at this point, he's still going to need one more stop, so he's not in the driver's seat. I think we're still talking about Will Power and Ryan Hunter-Reay that can do this on one stop. And guys, keep an eye on Dario Franchitti. Despite that issue, he came in about 11 or 12 laps ago. If Hunter-Reay and Power cannot make it, which I think they can, but if they can't, Dario Franchitti might still have an opportunity to win this race.
Dario's currently in 8th.
And Dario Franchitti, the people that, again, it depends what unfolds here, but if Power saves some fuel along with Hunter-Reay, I agree with Kevin that they could only make one more stop, but then you have to jump down all the way to, like you said, Franchitti and actually Ana Beatriz as well, for those that only have one more stop to go. I mean, there's some behind that.
Franchitti just picked up another spot, moves up to 6th around Ana. Franchitti's making the charge. 9.5 seconds behind Will Power.
Think about this, Wally. Chip Ganassi hadn't won a race in Grand Am, hadn't won a race in NASCAR, hadn't won a race in IndyCar. That's got to be the longest drought that team's ever had.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, Franchitti's been, he's been pretty good the last couple weeks. It just had knucklehead things happen.
Yeah, and Dixon started out with 2 seconds, but it's just unusual that they're not winning races.
Castro Neves, third in this group, still has wing damage up front. Joseph Newgarden behind him, but a lap down.
Newgarden running in 20th spot. There are 3 cars that are 1 lap down. Newgarden, Jakes, and Bourdais. As we see Elio move to the inside of Anna Beatrice. And Elio will move to 7th, putting Anna back to 8th. She's having a very good run, though, today. No doubt about that.
Absolutely. And here comes Sato. Sato's thinking about it. He dives in. Does he have time?
Look out. Nope. And he got hit.
Oh, that was an abort. Abort, abort.
I don't know whether he hit the berm or whether he got hit by the car, but his car kind of raised a little bit off the ground. Hildebrand up 10th. That's Sato just ahead of him. Charlie Kimball looks to the inside of Marco.
Is that Carpenter sitting there in the 12th spot?
How about that?
Yeah, great run for him.
There he is in the Fuzzy's vodka sponsored car. Right behind James Hinchcliffe.
Hinchcliffe is sure sizing up Hildebrand right now, isn't he?
He got into turn 10 really well, but didn't seem to be able to maintain on the way off.
He really has. I mean, I think that's where his struggle has been all day. He has been not getting off the corners the way he likes right on board here. It almost sounds like he's not getting the rear power down. Oh, he locks up the right front a little bit there. That didn't help.
That's going to lose time for sure.
Look at Kimball on the outside.
That was a squeeze job with Andretti. Marco Andretti. Sato trying to regroup after that's one of those things, Wally, that gets your heart racing when you get ready to make a move. You get halfway alongside and your brain's saying abort, abort. I'm not gonna make it.
And you really, and it does, you need to take a lap or two to, like you said, regroup, make sure that the car's feeling okay, and then go back on the attack.
Sato finished 8th here last year in Sao Paulo. Couple of onboard shots here from Charlie Kimball.
Casey's down, taking a look. Boy, he got way. Oh, he did the crossover.
Overshot.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's going to come back on the right side of him. Boy, he was awfully close to the wall there. I think he's got plenty of room, boy. Sure looks like Marco came over on him.
Wow. Oof. Squeeze
he left him enough room, but he couldn't leave him any more room.
But then he didn't make that corner.
Yeah.
Well, you have to give Charlie Kimball credit. He has definitely stepped it up. As you could see, as he was dancing with it coming off of that corner, he's become much more aggressive this year. Kevin?
Scott Dixon is going to probably have to make one more stop. He's going to sticker red alternate tires, the softer ones. Runner up the first 2 races, but at Long Beach, a mechanical problem not only caused him to finish in the back, but he had to sit in his car for the last 30-plus laps, still hoping to get a tow in back to the pit lane. But so far, so good today for Dixon.
I would have walked back.
Comes out just ahead of Oriol Servia. Well, it's still Will Power, and the advantage is 2.7 seconds over Ryan Hunter-Reay. Back in a moment.
Rubens Barrichello is probably going to have to make one more stop as well. It's a set of sticker reds for Barrichello, so let's see if he can pick up some time. If he knows he's going to have to make one more stop, then he can burn some fuel and go full go. But here's the quandary. If we had quite a few caution laps, maybe they could make it on one more. So, Jan, do they go conservative or just assume they're going to have to make one more stop?
And Kevin, I think his window is too wide. I think he has to go for it knowing he has a splash and go. He was the last person by my calculations that had to stop. So everyone you see in the running order should only have one more stop all the way down to 13th position. So the first two guys first three, mind you, have to be cautious with their fuel, but everyone behind should only have to be on pit road one more time.
Again, we're not in control of the pictures, but it bears talking about Robin Miller, the guy who's running in 10th position, and he's often criticized for not having any road course skills at all, but Ed Carpenter's running 10th.
Pretty cool, and he's got Michael Cannon as an engineer and Fuzzy's vodka, and I think, you know, Ed, he's picked up, he was 4 seconds off the pace a few years ago, and then he cut it to 2, and it's harder when you're an oval racer and you've never done much road racing, so he's done a good job.
Sure has. Barrichello, as a result of the pit stop, is going to drop back to 17th position as we watch the leader of the race, Will Power.
And he and Ryan Hunter-Reay are on the identical strategies as far as they stopped on the same lap. And Franchitti, running third, has a couple of laps in hand because he stopped a little bit later. But you got to be able to see the guy before that's going to play out. They've left him.
Will Power, as Oriol Servia makes a pit stop. Power has been voted the first quarter driver of the year by a distinguished panel of 21 broadcasters and journalists, and of course I'm one of them. That's why I mentioned that.
Oh, I was going to say, distinguished. That's why Wally and I didn't vote.
Yeah, exactly. Now I understand.
I added that one. But he has had a great first 4 races of the year, or at least 3, and showing the way here in number 4.
I posed the question to him the other day, Bobby. I said, Will, what if they start you last and give you a $250,000 bonus at any road course or street circuit? He said, bring it on.
Wow.
But you know, it's going to be so interesting at our next race, the Indianapolis 500. And of course, we will have coverage of time trials both days, nearly nonstop, but it's just going to be so interesting to see if the guys and the girls who have been good in this road course, street course portion of the series can do equally well on the oval. Beatrice back on the racetrack, or coming back onto it.
And of course it says Ana Beatriz there, but it's actually Ana Beatriz Castellato Gomez de Figueiredo. Seriously.
How many times did you practice that?
He's reading it. He didn't memorize it.
I couldn't even say it if I was reading it.
And they call her Bia.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's why. 25 laps to go.
Man, he is glued to that thing. I mean, he is one with the machine right there.
Okay, race drivers. Now the old car, you didn't used to see guys always crossed up like that in the old car. This is what fans like to see. They want to see guys going after it like we used to when we were growing up.
And that's what real race drivers like to do. They like driving cars like that.
With just 25 laps to go, can Will Power hang on to the lead here at Sao Paulo? While we were in break, the top 2, Will Power and Ryan Hunter-Reay, both made pit stops.
Look at Dixon here. This is going to be a shot if he can pull it off right here. Yes.
This is for 11th position. Dixon is going to get him. Dixon moves to 11th. Ryan Hunter-Reay is 13th now. Up front, it's Dario Franchitti, followed by Castro Neves and Sato running third.
And Power's not going to be too concerned about this. He still has to be cautious with his fuel. Of course, Dixon is going to have to stop, make another pit stop. So they think about where they're going to be on the road. And here comes, of course, Franchitti for his stop.
He relinquishes the lead to Elio Castro Neves.
Again, he'll be good to go the rest of the way.
Dario Franchitti making his final stop now. He's got a sticker red. It's also worth noting that both Will Power and Ryan Hunter-Reay have sticker red, so they are all on equal ground at this point, and they can race the rest of the way.
Graham Rahal also was on pit lane, comes back out. And Dario comes out just ahead of E.J. Viso. And Hinch, these two
he's going to
guys,
try it again. Now watch this right front when he goes into this last corner. He's been having a hard time locking the right front up, and it slides the car out. Let's see if he can pull it off this time.
Oh, man. These guys,
lock up.
Seems like they've been running together all race
You may
long.
have him this time.
Yep, pulled it off this time. But he's been trying.
He's been working that move for a while.
This is third place.
Good pass.
Ed Carpenter just behind Hildebrand. Now up to fifth, and they both pit.
After all that. Now he pits.
There's the leader of the race, Helio Castroneves. The winner in the opener at St. Pete, as we are on board with J.R. Hildebrand as he hits his pit box.
Very interesting. You could actually see that little right there. You can see when the fuel starts to go, and you also saw there was a great angle of seeing the actual fuel come back into the vent hose. That's how you know it's all the way full and time to disengage. That was a great angle of a pit stop. But you can actually see that little valve show when it flaps open. It's pretty cool.
Here's your leader.
Now, of course, when he makes his stop, he obviously has laps in hand, so he can not be as concerned about saving fuel. But the problem was Will Power and others had a lot of track position on him. So
okay, so how much fuel do you think? I mean, can they short fill him?
Not really.
No.
He's still going to take everything.
There he goes.
You'd rather take a full load of fuel and then have some more to stand on it instead of being in fuel save mode. But he's going to need a caution to close that gap to the leaders.
Right.
We
Kevin?
go down to Kevin.
Here comes Helio Castroneves to make his final stop. He's got a sticker red set left here, so most of the front runners are going to have that opportunity. He had cycled to the front through pit stops. Let's see where he is able to cycle back in if he has anything for a potential podium finish. Remember, only one Brazilian has finished on the podium in the first 2 years, and that was Vitor Meira 2 years ago.
Actually,
Castroneves in and out.
Looking at that wing, that may be helping him on the straightaway.
Yeah.
Less drag.
And you could see the fuel in the vent hose, so that's how you know immediately they took a full load of fuel, which would be what is expected.
Looks like he's going to come out in somewhere around 6th position. Hinchcliffe has also made a pit stop.
Uh-oh!
He blew the corner.
That's not good. That
cold tires locked the front tires up, and he blew the corner.
Wow. Same place as Briscoe, I think.
Hinchcliffe has, not made the pit stop yet. But he's the leader of the race over Scott Dixon by about 9 seconds. But Hinchcliffe now peels off and heads for pit lane. We've had 4 leaders and 3 late changes in this race. Kevin can see Hinchcliffe as he comes down. Kevin.
Final stop for our latest leader. James Hinchcliffe will come in at 50 miles an hour. He's got a clean in, so pitting under green makes it, well, first of all, safer here on pit road and makes for an easy in and out. He's got a set of sticker reds left to go for his final stint. They'll get the fuel in, but fuel shouldn't be much of an issue for Hinchcliffe. He can go maybe at a little higher wick than everybody else the rest of the way.
There's the leader of the race now, Scott Dixon, and his advantage over 2nd place Power and 3rd place Ryan Hunter-Reay. With now 20 laps to go in this race, Dixon leads. Running in 2nd, Power, 3rd, Hunter-Reay, 4th, Hinchcliffe. Back in a moment. Welcome back to the streets of Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the Itaipava Sao Paulo Indy 300. Live here on the NBC Sports Network. Watching Charlie Kimball in a battle with Ray Hall, Beatrice, and Carpenter up ahead.
These two guys are teammates. What they call on pit lane G2, Ganassi 2, Viso on pit lane.
EJ had moved up to third place, but makes his final pit stop here with 18 laps to go.
He came in a little earlier than he needed to. He's on basically the same strategy as Scott Dixon. He came in 1 lap later, actually, I believe, than Dixon. So he could have waited another 10 laps. But I think the reason they came in is he was on the primary blacks. They still had a set of sticker reds. So they wanted to get under those reds as soon as they can because they knew there was no chance they could go the rest of the way.
And Kevin, I like that strategy because if there was a caution period and they packed everyone up, you want to have your last stop done. A lot of people feel that the key to winning these races is being the first person to make your last stop. So that's part of that strategy. Scott Dixon could do the same, but when you're in the lead, you don't want to give up that track position. But I don't see any way that Scott Dixon, and here's this battle again, Ray Hall going to the inside of Anna Beatrice.
And picks up 13th position.
Kimball's there too.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's on the wrong side, I believe.
Let's see how this pans out.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, wow. Anna Beatrice hangs on.
In there.
Wow, hangs on to the outside. Nicely done. That's an Andretti Autosport car. She'll have that same ride. Of course, different bodywork, but same ride for the Indy 500.
Ray Hall. Take a look at Carpenter, yep.
We mentioned Takuma Sato will have a teammate at the Indianapolis 500. How about Michelle Jourdain will have that ride? Whoa, little tail happy there. Michelle Jourdain hasn't driven in the Indianapolis 500 in 16 years, and he hasn't driven in IndyCar since 2004, but will be at the Speedway.
Looks like Ray Hall's going to take a look here at the end of the straightaway.
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
So is Kimball.
Ray Hall moves up to 12th position.
It's nice to see a passing zone like that on a street course.
Yes. I mean, all the drivers love this course, the way it's an attacking sort of a course with great passing zones. Anytime you have long straightaways followed by tight corners, that's just a recipe for great battling and great action.
There was supposed to be something like a 90% chance of rain today. What I'm wondering is where the rain.
Yeah, where's this land of drizzle you were talking about,
right.
Bob?
That's why there's 10. You know, that 10% prevailed.
Amazing, though.
That's not how it works with my weathermen back home.
I don't know, though, but 90% of chance of rain today, and it did rain this morning, so I guess they're off the hook.
Yeah. This is Charlie Kimball. Finished 18th last week at Long Beach. His best finish this year was at St. Pete. He finished 9th.
See the mile per hour there on the left-hand side. At 180 mile per hour plus.
Boy, you're on the throttle for a long time, aren't you?
Oh, and there's Carpenter.
And Viso and Jakes are side by side. Viso to the left.
Viso's not quite alongside, though. Good thought for Viso to get out of that one. Tony Kanaan coming up from behind. Teammates.
Kanaan is in 18th.
You know, Viso's done a good job all year, fellas. He had put a wheel wrong and banged it
compared to last year.
He's really cleaned up and he's run well.
Now James Jakes is a lap down, so he and Viso are not on the same lap, but Viso and Kanaan are.
Yeah, that's where it gets frustrating with the driver. You know, if Viso's looking in his mirror and seeing Kanaan filling him up, you don't want to be racing a guy that's a lap down. Not when you've got a guy for position all over the back of you.
Scott Dixon is the leader of the race by about 3 seconds over Will Power, but Dixon will undoubtedly have to make a pit stop before the end of the race. Another full course caution here at Sao Paulo. Joseph Newgarden. So now we have a caution, depending upon how long it is. Can Dixon go the rest of the way? Okay.
No, I do not think, and this unfortunately was not what Scott Dixon was hoping for. Scott Dixon, in fact, that shows it.
Yeah.
I don't need to say any more. He wanted to be sure that they built enough of a gap and pitted before a caution. Now, when the pit's open, they're closed at the moment. When the pit's open, he's going to go in and drop right to the back. But what it does do, it takes all the rest of the field and bunches them up, takes a little pressure off them for saving fuel, and then have at it.
Joseph Newgarden had made contact with the wall, one of the 2 cars involved in incidents that brought out this full course caution. He is on pit lane as the crew checks over to see if there was significant damage, enough to put him on the sidelines for the rest of the race. Joseph Newgarden will climb out of the car. On the racetrack, it's Will Power, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Dario Franchitti, Elio Castroneves, and Takuma Sato, the top 5. And we have a sweeper out there getting the marbles up off the track so that we can hopefully have a clean racetrack for the last 10 laps or so. All right, let's see some news from this past week. John Barnes fined $25,000, placed on probation for his tweet in reference to the turbocharger situation. As we mentioned earlier, Lotus has released both Brian Herta and Ryan Reinbold from their contracts. Engine changes will not incur a 10-grid penalty for the Indianapolis 500, and Michelle Jourdain attempting to make another starting spot in the Indianapolis 500. Robin, how many cars are we going to have at Speedway?
Well, Bobby Newman-Haas was going to come with Jean Alesi, and thankfully somebody had enough sense to say, you know, this guy hadn't raced in 15 years. There's no reason for him to make his old debut at Indy, so they're not going to run. Mike Shank's got a car. He's got Jay Howard. Jay Howard's got a sponsor. What they don't have yet is an engine, so they're working on that. Maybe a Honda. You know, they've got 3 choices, but I know Mike Shank's working hard to make this his first Indy 500. So I think we'll have 34. Maybe 35. And you know, there was a few years ago when they were calling guys like Art and Dare and people like that on the last day of qualifying to come back from the shopping mall and jump into the Indy 500. There was only 33 starters. So
I think they did that with Felipe Giafone.
It was Felipe Giafone. Yeah. That's who it was. He was shopping with his wife. Yeah. They said, hey, you got a helmet? Get over here. We got a spot for you.
Yep. James Jakes on pit lane.
How many fines have you received in your career?
My career? Yeah. I've been fired. I've not been fined. They just go right to the...
They just go all the way.
Right.
They don't give you a warning.
No. Yeah. When they had the NBC picnic at the end of the year, everybody takes 2 steps forward. Let's go to the picnic. Not so fast, Miller.
And you talked about engine changes, Bob, in one of those news notes. What it means is that if you have an engine change, they will not take your penalty for the grid of the Indy 500, but it's still play. It carries over.
Right.
So it's not like you get a freebie. You are going to just serve it later on in the season. They want to be sure they don't do the grid shuffle for the Indy 500, which makes sense.
Yeah, good idea. Well, what about Michelle Jourdain, Robin? I mean, you talk about John Alesi. This guy hasn't been here in 15 years.
I mean, I know. I just don't know why people sit there. Are they sitting at home when they're bored? I mean, look at Wally. Wally can still. Let's get Wally a ride.
Oh, boy. All right, Kevin, what do you got on Joseph Newgarden?
Well, they've come in after this latest wall scraper a little bit, and it's certainly enough that it's significantly impacted the handling of the car. So they're going to park it unless we have a pileup here on this restart. He's out of the car, but he's keeping the helmet on. So if there's a pileup and several go out, he'll get back in the car and turn another lap or 2 to potentially score some more points.
Well, again, the standings, the final results are not going to indicate just how well Joseph Newgarden ran in this race till he had the problem. Looks like maybe getting the 1 to go sign. Nope.
And part of this is that they meaning IndyCar, wants to, you saw sweepers on the racetrack. When you have a restart that's going to come late in the game, they want to be sure they sweep to get the marbles off so that they can race, because you don't want to get offline, Wally, near the end and hit marbles and just sail straight.
That's a good call. Is that a black flag he had in the other hand?
It was.
Somebody's going to get it.
Yeah.
Remember the days when you used to take the black flag and used to touch it to their head, you know, like, come on. Be thinking there, you know, be smart.
Couple of things to talk about on this date in IndyCar history, April 29th. Dan Weldon won in Kansas and led 177 of the 200 laps, and Dario Franchitti finished second and Castro Neves third. Remember that race, Robin?
I do, because I remember that was going to Indy. We were thinking, well, Dan was just going to kick everybody's butt at Indy.
And don't we wish we had him to be among those in the lineup for this year's 500?
Absolutely.
All right, Kevin.
Ryan Hunter-Reay was just told by Michael Andretti, who is now calling his race. Michael switched over from Marco Andretti, and Kyle Moyer went to call Marco's race, but he said go to fuel mixture 1 here. So I think everybody's pretty safe on fuel, but they're still thinking about saving. But at least at the restart, they're going to go after it. And Ryan Hunter-Reay was told by Michael Andretti, you can win this thing.
Absolutely.
This
you can do it.
This is going to be good.
Got Franchitti sitting in third, which is incredible. What he's been through today. So he's got a shot to win this thing.
And Sato, he's fifth, has had all kinds of problems.
Castroneves is sitting in
Conway.
fourth. I mean,
Conway seventh. Okay, they begin to form up. Johnny Rutherford has taken the pace car off the track.
And if you're Hunter-Reay, this has got to be the restart of your life right here. The only shot you're going to have at power is roughing him up or at least taking his line away in turn 1.
There will be 8 laps to go when they hit the line for the restart. Wow, very, very nicely aligned once again. Will Power tries to inch his way ahead. Here they come down the straightaway. Green is out. Let's see who wins the battle at turn 1.
Power got a great restart.
Yep.
There comes Sato. Sato's coming up the inside.
Wow, nice move. Now can he hang on to it? Oh, nice move.
He slots into third.
Oh, somebody's in the wall. We got a bunch of them. Oh, what a traffic
lots
jam.
of cars in the. Tony Kanaan is involved, so is Graham Rahal and
Marco
Beatrice.
Andretti's
Marco,
in there.
yep.
And Beatrice.
That's not what we wanted to see.
No.
Oh, look at this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars.
Man. Good race for Tony Kanaan goes by the wayside. Another full course caution.
And Takuma Sato.
That was a great move on Sato's part. That's the aggression you need to show on a restart, especially this late in the game.
And when we go back to double foul restart, guess who's going to be right behind Power? One Takuma Sato. Wonder if he can do it twice.
His nickname in Formula One was Red Mist. And this time, starts third.
Well, let's take a look at it. This is Simon Pagenaud's on board.
Yep. What are you going to do?
I think it was Conway maybe just got into the wall a little bit and it just choked everything up. I think that's what it was. Well, yeah, Conway just got in the wall, and there's like 4 or 5 of these guys couldn't go anywhere. You see the ABC car there. Sato does a beautiful job sliding that car in there. Now watch here. Conway goes boom, and then everybody just piles up behind him.
You are right.
Conway was right to the outside of Hinchcliffe, and no more room for Conway. He gets into the wall, and of course Marco Andretti at this point. Again, what do you get? They just
an accordion
nose to tail.
I'll tell you that was impressive by Sato, man. He slid that car in that position.
It was perfectly done.
Well, this may take a couple of laps to get everybody going again. You see James Jakes there.
This is what I always wondered.
Here come the leaders, though.
Who gets restarted first?
Man, they got to. You don't want to have a leader stall here. That's. I'm surprised they didn't have him go across the paint. Take the shorter route. They need to get Anna Beatrice's car before somebody smacks that. That is some tight maneuvering right there. And remember, they're working a hand clutch this year, because you definitely would be pulling a hand clutch through there to be sure you didn't stall out.
There are the 8 cars that were involved.
And of course, remember that as those cars filed through, that means you're going a lap down. So there were a couple of cars that got going again, and they had damage, so they have other issues. But anybody who was still sitting there now is for sure cooked.
Dario Franchitti is 4th in line, then Castro Neves, Hinchcliffe, Hildebrand, Kimball, and Viso, and Barrichello is in the top 10.
Need those onboard starters.
Whoa. There you go.
Away goes Graham. Well, it seems impossible, but in just 3-week time, Saturday, May 19th, time trials for the Indianapolis 500-mile race. It'll be pole day on Saturday, and then on Sunday, bump day. They have this format, as you know, that you get 3 chances to qualify every day, and then the top 6, is it, or 9?
9.
4:30 to 6 o'clock in the shootout.
9.
Okay.
9.
Yes.
All right. 11 a.m. to 2:30, and then 4:30 to 6:30 on Saturday, and then constant coverage. Wally loves this. Noon to 6:30 on bump day. Carb day also, we will have all the festivities of that at 11 o'clock until 4, including the Firestone Indy Lights Freedom 100, which will be right after the final practice period for the Indy 500 cars.
I know Robin was talking a bit about what's going to happen bump day. Will there be more than 33? But I think the one thing we do know, the battle at the front of the field is going to be awesome.
Incredible.
I mean, the way it's just shaken out this year, you know, whether or not there's a lot of bumping. And boy, did you ever see some hand gestures by Marco there? It's like
he wants to get started.
Definitely, he wants to get started.
Like I said, that's where do you fall in the pecking order? I mean, everybody wants to get restarted first to get out of there.
Yeah.
If I was these guys, I'd have got the Brazilian started first.
Yeah, just good call. Good call.
But you know, Jan's right. Last year, one of the most dramatic days of Indy history, Alex Tagliani beats Penske and Ganassi to win the pole for Sam Schmidt.
Yep.
Didn't get any better than that.
Nope.
And Anna Beatrice just shaved by losing. She'd already lost 1 lap, but now on the verge of going down 2 as it appears.
But see, that's
Mike
what I mean.
Conway.
Some of these guys lost 1 lap. Marco's lost 2.
This is Conway here getting going. But again, they're going to hit pit road probably with damage anyway.
Right. It's just the thought of it that would aggravate me, though.
All cars are rolling. The area is clear of race cars. We should go back to a green flag here in maybe 1.5 more laps.
Hunter Ray's got to try to stay even with Power if he's going to. Power gets such good restarts.
And here's Ed Carpenter, who's in the paint area.
And the pace car had gone through that area, but he's turned the wrong. It's almost like maybe someone checked up and he got a little bit of help from behind, maybe.
It's pretty wet in there, too.
Yeah. Let's see if anybody. Oh, no, just slick.
Yep.
I think he's just got the wet stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? That's all positions going by him now. I don't know where he was running.
And here he kept it running and just installed on him the second go round.
We've had 5 leaders and 5 lead changes in this race. We are in our 5th full course caution, and we so far have been cautioned for 14 of the laps with 6 to go.
It may not be the last caution.
Yeah, very possible.
Let's hope not, because we want to get some running here. Boy, Watch the blue and white car of Sato when we get towards the restart. See if by chance he can do that 2 times in a row, because he knows exactly how to do it. He's done it once.
And think about this, fellas. He never won a race in Formula One. He was always fast. He was talking about the last time he's won a race was like 10 or 11 years ago, probably, in a junior formula. So, who's more hungry? Who's going to try? Who's going to try to do it a bit harder than he's going to do it?
Yep. Understand that it's starting to sprinkle. that could be interesting, huh?
Yes.
Wet down the last 4 laps. That's good.
That's what Sato wants to see.
Yep.
I'm not sure anybody wants to see that when you're on slicks. Sato might like that if you're on your rain tires. But
there are 11 cars on the lead lap, as you saw just a few moments ago. The last car on the lead lap is the Lotus of Boreal Serbia. And another Lotus is in 12th, driven by Sebastian Bourdais. Lights out atop the pace car.
you mentioned Serbia. He almost didn't make the start of the race. They had an engine problem in the morning warm-up to where they actually had an issue with the oil pan. They had to take parts off of an engine they had changed after qualifying, and it was touch and go if he'd even make the race. So the very last race for Lotus DRR, I mean, right now, he's the last, as you said, on the lead lap. So unless something goes wrong, he's 11th or better. A pretty good turnaround.
Yep.
You know Sato's going for it.
Absolutely.
I mean, you just know he's going for it. He is just licking his chops right now.
Sato led 16 laps at Long Beach and led 11 laps at St. Pete. He has not led here today, but maybe he will.
Remember last year he had a great race going here, Jan. Didn't they screw up the strategy or something, or something happened because
in the wet?
Yeah, don't forget Hunter Ray and Sato had a little get together at Long Beach.
Yeah, he was in this position. He was in third looking to make the podium and then had contact with Ryan Hunter-Reay, and Ryan Hunter-Reay received a penalty because of it.
Lining up for the restart. Will it be Will Power? Will it be Ryan Hunter-Reay on your left? Behind Will Power is Takuma Sato, and behind Ryan Hunter-Reay is Dario Franchitti.
Yeah, Franchitti could really come out of this smelling like a rose.
Well, hold your breath and hope that we don't have another crash, but we do see some great racing. Here we go as they come down the front stretch once again, and the green is out. Yeah, he got a better restart this time, and there's wheel to wheel through into turn number 1. Power holds him off. Sato
Captain Evans is in front of Franchitti.
He did. Less than 4 laps to go.
To say Sato is hanging in there.
And Dario, looks like that Hinchcliffe now is all over him.
Oh, there goes Barrichello under Viso.
Barrichello is 10th, trying to get 9th back there as we continue to watch 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Now, Sato could get close enough to Ryan Hunter-Reay getting off of turn 10. He's been, by far, I think, in my opinion, done some of the deepest braking
And
out
here's
of all
10.
these guys.
Here's the corner you're talking about right here, but he's got to be a bit closer.
Will just moves away, though.
That's Chevrolet, Honda. They all seem like they stay equal distance, so it looks very similar. Again, your downforce level plays a part.
Power he just gets off the corners. Every race this year, you look at this in-car camera shot, and he just drives off the corner away from these guys.
Power has led 60 laps so far with just 3 to go. Takuma Sato's best finish in his IZOD IndyCar Series event was at Mid-Ohio last year when he finished 4th. He may be on the podium for the first time in his career.
Which is what we said on the last lap at Long Beach.
Yeah,
so,
let's not jinx it.
You got to bring it home.
So much for turbo game.
Barrichello's
So
still trying to get around Viso.
Yeah, didn't get by Viso, but he's still trying.
Good run for Hildebrand and Kimball. Charlie Kimball is running in 8th spot.
And he's had a lot of action today as Charlie Kimball. Wow, if you listen carefully there, he was on the power wally early. He powered all the way through, which whenever you have a corner leading onto a long straightaway, that is the technique you want.
If you're going to pick a couple of good corners to be good at, that's the type of corner you want to be good at, because it leads onto this really, really long back straight.
Charlie had his best career finish earlier this year at Long Beach. He was 9th. If he can hold on to the spot he's currently running, this will be his best career finish. Now with less than 2 laps to go, the rain holding off and Will Power holding off the challengers.
Doesn't look like those Chevys are too down on power going down the straightaway, does it?
No. For what Robin is referring to is that between Long Beach and this race, if you didn't catch it on the qualifying show yesterday, IndyCar made a slight adjustment in the turbocharger for the Honda, only because they're the only manufacturer running a single. So it's a spec part that comes from the series, and they felt that the single turbo didn't flow quite as well as the twin. They made an adjustment. There was a hearing. There was all kinds of brouhaha, including that $25,000 fine for the tweet that we talked about earlier. But seems to me that they've come up with something with a lot of parity, at least here.
Anna Beatrice will be penalized, by the way, for her avoidable contact with Ed Carpenter earlier in the race, as Power comes off of the 11th corner and sees the white flag. 1 more lap to go. The interval about 5 car lengths. Sato steadily in 3rd, Castro Neves 4th, Franchitti 5th. An incredible season so far for Will Power. About to win his 3rd straight race here. The championship has eluded him. This may be the year of Will Power altogether. No rain, unbelievably no rain to dampen the spirits and the ability of these IZOD IndyCar drivers. Will Power off the victory hairpin down the front stretch, and the Aussie simply overpowers his Brazilian competitors and wins at Sao Paulo. Power picks up his 18th career win, 3rd consecutive win this season, first time since Sebastian Bourdais in 2007. And as we indicated, he's been the only driver to ever win here in the streets of Sao Paulo. Ryan Hunter-Reay was 9/10 of a second back at the checkered flag. See Oriol Servia finishing in 11th. Pagano will come home 12th, and Tony Kanaan, involved in that incident on the restart, will come home 13th, and Andretti will be 14th. Victory celebration in a moment. The Sao Paulo Indy 300 on NBC Sports Network is brought to you by Novolog FlexPen. Ask your healthcare provider about the benefits of FlexPen today. And by IZOD. Go to IZOD.com to see the latest in IZOD color and performance. The race has been run at Sao Paulo, and Will Power is the winner of the race. There you see the top three, the podium finishers. Will leading Ryan Hunter-Reay on your left, and on the right, Takuma Sato picking up his best career IndyCar finish in third. Charlie Kimball picks up his best career finish in 8th position. He finished 9th at New Hampshire, and as I said earlier, 9th at St. Petersburg earlier this year. Elio Castroneves finished 4th in this race, followed by Dario Franchitti, then James Hinchcliffe, J.R. Hildebrand, Kimball, Viso came home 9th, and Rubens Barrichello, the hometown favorite, gets another top 10. That's his 3rd consecutive top 10. What are the chances of Rubens Barrichello winning a race before the year's over? Pretty good?
Well, after you see this kind of run like from the Penske guys, everybody's going to have to step their game up if they're going to want to win some races. You know, I think Barrichello's doing an unbelievable job, and he's, like you said, the expectations. I think he's right in check. I think absolutely he can win a race. There's a lot of people who can win races, but just this power, Penske domination, these guys are going to have to start doing their homework.
Absolutely. It's going to be, when you have somebody like Ryan Hunter-Reay and Sato, and certainly Ryan Hunter-Reay, as you see in the middle of the screen there, he's a street circuit specialist. They have a great setup on Andretti Autosport, and even on a day when he had the alternate reds and Power was ahead on the blacks, Power still drove away from him.
You know, it says something too, Bobby, for the series. I mean, Rubens is, you know, he was more tenured than anybody in Formula One, won a dozen races, well thought of, well respected. He just hadn't come in here and taken over like a lot of people maybe thought he was. It bodes well for the series as far as the depth of this series.
Did you see Sato? Sato is thrilled. I mean, I'm on the podium. I made it. I saw my first checkered flag of the year, and I'm on the podium. Yes.
Good to see for Bobby Rahal, also the owner of the team. Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan. And to say the least, we had a big crowd in Sao Paulo today, as there was last year, but not on race day, because of course it got rained out on Sunday, and we had to come back on Monday when the stands were almost empty. But the Brazilian fans turned out in droves today. Power still in the race car. All right, Kevin, let's celebrate the victory with Will.
On top of the car here on the main straightaway of the Sambadrome, he will do the power leap. And the 3rd in a row for Will Power, not only here, but also this season, as he gives Ryan Hunter-Reay a hug. Make our way through the crowded area here. Quite an effort here today for Will Power as he chats about the finish with Ryan Hunter-Reay. We'll have to fend off some other reporters as well. Will, tell me about the final restart.
Yeah, that was the key to winning. You know, Ryan got a really good jump, and I knew I just had to go like you wouldn't believe through the first complex of corners, because I know he can get a run on me. But yeah, Ryan's one of the hardest guys you'll ever race. You know, he never gives up. So full credit to the Verizon guys, Chevy, and Team Penske. You know, these guys make it possible, and we did it 3 for 3.
I think we're all a little bit surprised that we were able to stay dry the entire time. Did that help you?
I got 2 questions there.
Well, one was in English.
Okay. I didn't hear.
Were you happy that it stayed dry?
Yes, I was. I mean, I was happy that it didn't rain right at the end there. You know, we were ready for whatever condition, but yeah, that was a good race, a great race, another good strategy by the team, and the boys did a great job on the pit stop.
All right, we'll let the locals jump in here. And we'll move over to Ryan Hunter-Reay, who comes in 2nd, and Takuma Sato is also here. We'll get with Takuma in just a moment. A good finish for you. You continue on your roll. We were talking earlier, I think you were 20th in points at this point last year. You were 6th coming in. You're going to move up some more. Let's talk about that final restart, though. How close did you come to try to force that issue? Because you had at least a chance to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I really challenged him there on the outside. It was great racing Will. I mean, he's really clean, and it was a lot of fun. I thought that was my time to do it right there on the restart, because he was getting such a great exit shot out of so many corners, so I knew I had to do it early. So jumped it a little bit there and tried to get him, but he had that inside, and we raced clean, and I'm glad to see Taku up here. It's a great podium celebration. So I'm just really happy for the Andretti guys, DHL, Sundrop, everybody that supports this 28 car. We've been right there on the podium 3 out of 4 races, so we're really, really happy the way things are going heading into Indy now.
This is a good course. We've not really get to see it, though, at its fullness because of the wetness. Was it nice to get out and see what this course has with this very long backstretch?
This place, every year we've been here, the weather's been so up and down, so we have no idea what to expect as we're going through the race. It started raining there last couple laps, so you're thinking, wow, are we going to end up going wet here? You had no idea what's going on. It keeps you on your toes, but great racing today. It was clean where we were, and we had a lot of back and forth there, and I saw quite a few tangle ups back in the field, but this turn 1's so tight, it kind of breeds it. But I think that the guys are all doing a good job. All the drivers are pretty heads up so far. Granted, I haven't seen what happened today, but it was a lot of fun. The race was a lot of fun, and man, I'm so happy to be on the podium heading into Indy. I want to go to Indy, and I want to have a good time, and that's what it's about this year. So
that's what I was going next. You've got momentum coming to Indianapolis. You feel like you've got an opportunity to win the 500 this year?
Well, 1 foot at a time, right? 1 foot at a time. I have yet to be in this car at IMS, and I can't wait for that day, but they've certainly done a great job preparing it, and the Andretti guys are just doing a great job this year. We have a great chemistry there, the team does, and we've been trying to race heads up, and I have to thank the crew, the strategists, Michael Andretti, all the sponsors, everybody. Thank you very much for putting us here.
Great run today. Congratulations. Second for Ryan Hunter-Reay. Here's Takuma Sato, who finishes on the podium as well. That was quite a move there in that it wasn't the last restart, but it was one of the final restarts. We got around Dario Franchitti. Tell us about that.
It was an opportunity that they made the press up, and we had a hell of a race, really. We started from the back of the row, and we needed to gradually come up, and here was opportunity, and I go for it, and I'm really excited.
You were having a great run at Long Beach a couple of weeks ago. Contact very late in the race. That could have been a podium. And you still finished 8th, but as you said in the post-race interview, I still haven't seen the checkers. Now you've seen the checkers. Relief?
Fantastic. First time seeing the checker for this year was the third. That was an amazing job. I mean, really outstanding job from the team, Ray Hall, Ray Thomas, Lanning and teams. Come back in IndyCar Series and the first checkered frog with the third. It's not too bad.
So are you gelling with this team? I know you've had optimism, you've had speed, but no results. Now you've got a result to take with you to Indianapolis.
I think so. I think it's been an adventure. In the first 3 races in a row, we couldn't finish the race, and here we are. We finally got some result to bring it to the 500, which is a completely different scenario. But team is really motivated, bonded very nicely. So I'm happy to Bobby standing here, and fantastic.
Congratulations, Takuma Sato, with an embrace for Bobby Rahal. He's headed to the podium. You can probably see the fans here with us on the main straightaway. They are en masse this weekend. Great Brazilian fans have enjoyed a fantastic race here today on the streets of Sao Paulo, Bob.
That's really cool to see Taku, his nickname, come home in 3rd position here for his best career result. All right, we will see some highlights from the race when we come back. Will Power has won this race over Ryan Hunter-Reay and Takuma Sato. Back in just a moment here on the NBC Sports Network. Welcome back to Sao Paulo, Brazil. Here are the unofficial results. Will Power wins over Ryan Hunter-Reay, who gets his best season finish. Takuma Sato in 3rd has his best career finish. Dario Franchitti in 5th has his season best. And Charlie Kimball in 8th had his career best finish. Bizzo and Barrichello round out the top 10. Auriel Servia, the only other car on the lead lap at the charge of at the drop of the checkered flag. Simon Pagenaud 11th. Tony Kanaan, Marco Andretti both involved in incidents there on a restart. Anna Beatrice in her first outing this year finishes in 20th. And Joseph Newgarden in 23rd, although he ran much, much better than the results show. Jan Bikas will recap what happened here today.
And of course, Bob, there was some concern that without the pace car, would they come up cleanly? They did. Not only were they clean on the front straightaway, they were clean through the whole S's de Samba. As they're called, we saw a lot of dancing, a lot of contact later, but not on the initial start. Of course, it was Ryan Briscoe who skipped across these bumps, and unlike his teammate Castro Neves, who made the corner, Briscoe did not. This knocks him out, and then it's time for the restarts where we start to see contact. That was contact, of course. ABC supply of Conway gets into the back of Dario Franchitti. This super slow-mo again shows that this car can take a licking, keep on ticking, and amazingly did not contact his team car teammate Scott Dixon. Charlie Kimball was in the middle of a lot of things today, and he had a bird's eye view of Simona De Silvestro getting into the back and causing damage for Joseph Newgarden. Now, Newgarden, of course, continued, but later retired with that damage. Here comes Sato up the inside. Blue and white does the slide job perfect. So that was a well-earned podium. But, of course, behind, once you have Conway into the wall, you have a stack up and 8 cars. You heard Ryan Hunter-Reay say that turn 1 is so narrow that it breeds this kind of contact. 2 onboard views. This one of Tony Kanaan thinks he has everything going great. And then, unfortunately, sorry, traffic jam ahead. Some cars got restarted and stayed on the lead lap. Graham Rahal was not one of those. He lost a lap by the time they got him going.
And so the points now after 4 races. The top 2 are now separated by 45. Hinchcliffe moves up 2 positions, as does Ryan Hunter-Reay. And look at Takuma Sato, who moved up 9 spots in the point standings to a tie with Hildebrand Briscoe for 7th position. More in a moment.
A look at the podium here at Sao Paulo. Will Power wins. Ryan Hunter-Reay, Takuma Sato also there as well. And Dario Franchitti back in the garage area with your best run of the season, 5th. I know you're still a little bit frustrated because you feel like you had a better car, maybe even a winning car without the early contact.
Well, you know, ifs and buts, but we were up there, and we definitely couldn't get the fuel mileage that the Chevys could get. But I think on pace we were pretty good. Unfortunately, when I got tipped into that spin at the first chicane, that put us back to last. We did something with the strategy, and we were fighting our way back through. But I had one restart. Takuma did a banzai move down the inside, so it was either going to crash or give him the corner. That was fair enough. And in the last one, I actually about looped it coming out of turn 11, almost won. So the last 2 restarts weren't the best, but a much better weekend. Target Boys did a good job, and the Lexar car was quick. So we'll build from there.
What about the contact with Mike Conway? How did you see that?
You know, you're always upset when you get spun out like that. But did I do it on purpose? No, I don't think so. Absolutely not. You know, things concertina up so quickly in that braking zone, and it's very difficult to see. But there was definitely a lot of people not paying much attention, or not paying attention, just being very aggressive there. I was surprised we all got through there in the first lap, to be honest. But yeah, those things happen. So we'll move on to Indianapolis now. Got to get my mind into the oval mindset, and we'll head there, see what we can do.
We'll see you at the world's greatest race course, looking for number 3 at Indy. That's Dario Franchitti.
The 5th place finisher in today's race, the Itaipava Sao Paulo Indy 300. This is the first time, this is very interesting, this is the first time in its 44 years in IndyCar that Team Penske has opened the season with 4 straight wins. That's quite an accomplishment.
I'll say.
And Will Power is the man. Castro Neves, of course, won the first race in St. Petersburg, and then Will 3 in a row.
I love that trophy. I remember that last year when they pulled them out. It's just a really cool design. It's very different.
Now, Will had a good day, but when you have to call your fueler to come and open your champagne bottle, you know, I guess he left everything on the racetrack.
There we go. Now we can do some spraying and celebrating. Will Power, Ryan Hunter-Reay, and Takuma Sato. Well, don't miss the Stanley Cup semifinals tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, Nashville and Phoenix. We'll be back on Saturday, May 19th at 11 a.m. Eastern with Pole Day from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For more information on the IZOD IndyCar Series, log on to NBCSports.com. Congratulations to Will Power, the winner. For Jan Beekes, Wally Dallenbach, Kevin Lee, and Robin Miller, I'm Bob Jenkins. We'll see you in 3 weeks at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.